Hi everyone, and thank you for watching. This video is going to be your entry point into astrology. If not an entry point for you, put your seatbelt on. You're still going to learn some things that I think maybe that you didn't know. Or I'm going to reinforce some things that you already know. Now, the reason why I choose Jupiter as the entry point is because Jupiter is the best of both worlds. It's the best, it's the middle ground of astrology. It's not too detailed, it's not too big. It's right in the middle. And Jupiter represents fun, optimism, hopes, dreams, big life lessons, things that we are just really proud of and things that make us want to live life. And by understanding this part first, I think is a real good entry point into understanding what astrology is all about, because just hopes and dreams. That's why we're here, for hopes and dreams, and to accomplish the impossible, and to do and see all the things that we all ever wanted to be and desire and wanted to have, and all of that good stuff. So why do you need an entry point into anything, into any type of learning? Now, let's take, for example, a foreign language. With a foreign language, an entry point is very important, because you can live in a country for 10 years and never learn anything. You need an entry point. And, a good entry point for, let's say, learning foreign language is food. You want to start with food, something that you got to have, something that you care about, something that you're going to keep doing over and over and over, that's going to be reinforced automatically. And astrology is the same. I just talked about hopes and dreams. Everybody cares about hopes and dreams. Everyone is attached to their hopes and dreams. Everyone is living for their hopes and dreams, at least at some point in their life. And the reason why I'm choosing Jupiter as this entry point is because Jupiter is the best of, and it's another reason actually, it's the best of all the worlds. It's not too detailed oriented. I could use Mercury, but Mercury transits too quickly, and there's a lot of information going on within those transits, and it will be difficult to discern because of how quickly Mercury makes its transits. Or if I did, let's say Uranus is an 80, it goes through all the signs over a span of 84 years. And 84 years is a lifetime, and that's kind of too big to get any real deep understanding. You'll get a real good at one example, but a big deep understanding, it will be very difficult with the 84 years. You might not even live to 84 years. So with that, even with like Saturn's 29 years, and it's just the planet of responsibility. You learning about the hard lessons in life that ultimately make you a responsible person. That's a 29-year cycle to go through all the signs. And Mars is kind of too short. It's a 2-year. It takes about 2 years. Jupiter is a 12 years, because Jupiter goes through a sign approximately about every 1 year or 13 months or something like that. So Jupiter is it's not too long. It's stuff that you care about, you look forward to. I think it's the perfect entry point. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to give you an interactive activity. It's not going to be you just listening to me yammer on too much. You're going to get involved. And I'm also going to use myself to teach you about yourself, or guide you into understanding yourself. And basically what we're going to do here, I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen. We're gonna copy a chart. We're gonna go to Microsoft Word or Google Documents. We're gonna put that chart down. We're gonna make a diary. I'm gonna show you how to put some quick symbolism that'll help guide you on doing your diary. And you're gonna take your own information and compare with the dates and come to your own conclusions. And you'll do some learning all by yourself through exploring the activity. So let's do this. It sounds like fun, right? Let's do it. The first thing you want to do is you want to go to Google and look for a free astrology birth chart. You basically want to get your birth chart information. And here I chose astrocafeastrology.com, and I'm on this page, and you'll basically put your name and the date, your time of birth if you know it. If you don't know it, you'll still get information. It'll be slightly less accurate, but it'll still be good. And when you were born, the city you were born, and you put all the information in, and you get your birth chart and a whole lot more. You probably get some interpretations, but we just need a birth chart for what I'm about to do in a moment with you. Once you get your birth chart done, you should get a wheel that looks like this, a picture that looks like this, among a lot of other information. But we basically need this for the most part of what we're doing right now. This is my personal astrology wheel picture, and I'm going to talk about some things that you need to know from this in order to do what I'm about to show you with the calendar. Now, what you need to know from this is, if you look over on the left side, it says AS. AS is ascendant line, and this line represents the horizon in the sky when you were born, where the horizon was. And there's a sign that's crossing over my ascendant line, and that sign is Aquarius. The Aquarius sign looks like some water, some squiggly water, blue water sign. That's Aquarius. So that makes me an Aquarius rising. And Aquarius is the first sign that's in my first house. It's partially in my 12th house, but it's the first sign in my first house. So whatever sign is the first sign in a house is the sign that you say dominates that house, or is the ruler of that house. And if you look also in my first house, there's the sign of Pisces, which is a backward C and a forward C fused together looking sign. If you look at that, if you don't know what that means. And there, if you look in Pisces, there's an orange circle thing with the dot in it. That's my sun. And so my sun was in the sign of Pisces. So I'm a Pisces sun. And Pisces is also in my second house. It begins my second house. So again, whatever sign begins a house is the sign that rules that house for the system that we're using. We're using a whole sign system. So whatever the first sign of the house is that's the sign that rules that house. There's other systems, but I'm choosing this system because most astrologers say this works best for them. But you can choose any system as long as you stick with it fully and stay consistent with that. So we're getting one system and we're sticking with it, and that's this whole sign system. So the next sign is Aries, which is the red sign, the red looking sign, which is the next one after Pisces. If you look, it's partially in my third house. It's the first sign in my third house. So my third house is an Aries house. And on and on and on. The fourth house will be a Taurus house. My fifth house will be a Gemini house. My sixth house would be a Cancer house. It goes on and on and on, around all the way around the circle. So you need to know what's the first sign in each house in order to know the ruler of each house for what we're doing. And we're doing this to get us ready for the next thing, which is pretty simple. You'll see. Now that we know what signs are in which of our houses, the next thing we're going to do is we need to copy and paste a calendar, a Jupiter transit calendar. And this basically tells you when Jupiter went into a sign and came out of a sign. And the website I'm using is drstanley.com. It's for medical astrology, but it works for any astrology. And with what this is it's charts of the Jupiter transits. And this is a whole century of transits. And it's a calendar for a whole century. And they are in decade increments. Like this is the 20s. This is the 1930s. The 40s. It goes all the way to the 2020s, to the present, all the way to 2034. And let me show you something with these charts and calendars before we copy and paste it and we continue on. Let's read this for a second. I'll show you something that's different or kind of odd if you're not familiar. Jupiter was in 1920s. Jupiter was in Virgo for a whole year, and then it was in Libra for a whole year, and then in Scorpio for a whole year, Sagittarius for a whole year, Capricorn for a whole year, and it was in Aquarius for a whole year. But next, it was in Pisces for about 6 months, and then it went from Pisces to Aries for a couple of months, and then it went back to Pisces for about 5 months, and then it went back to Aries. So it kept going in and out of going in and out of Pisces and Aries, and it wasn't an entire year. It would be for a few months or a couple of months. And this is because of the orientation of the Earth and Jupiter. They're moving independently. Like sometimes the planets are close to each other, sometimes they're further away from each other, and that causes the planet Jupiter to move in and out of this imaginary house system because of the orientation of Jupiter and Earth to one another, and it causes these shorter transits that tend to happen. That they're usually 1 year, but sometimes they go in and out of a sign before they go to the next sign. But typically they're 1 year, but they can go in and out for 5 months, 6 months, a couple of months, that way. And when it goes in and out, the system, the rules still apply. That effect, we still feel that effect in whichever part of our life that those transits are related to. So with that said, that was kind of tough to explain, but with that said, we have, these are decade by decade, and what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way to the future, or to the present, 2020 to 2034. And what you want to do is you want to copy a chart. Like I'm going to copy and paste these charts. If you notice, I'm copying this. I'm copying it. And what I'm about to do, I'm about to paste this onto a writing document. For example, Google Docs or Microsoft Word. To open a new document. So I have a new document. This is Google Docs. And I'm going to paste the chart that I just copied. This is 2020 through 2034. So now we have a chart pasted. And what's so cool about this chart is that I can write information into the charts. Like for example, if you look, I just wrote some information into Jupiter, into Aquarius. But the type of information you want to write is things that help you remember what certain things mean. So for example, Jupiter in Aquarius. For me, this is my first house. So I would, important information. So first house. So Jupiter in Aquarius. This is my first house because Aquarius is the first sign in my first house. There's 2 signs in my first house. There's Pisces also, but Aquarius is the first sign. So this will be my Aquarius house. Next thing you want to do, we've already talked about what Jupiter means, so I'm not going to repeat that. Aquarius, what is Aquarius all about? And this will kind of help you understand what you're looking for also by knowing what Aquarius stands for. So here you want to write some key words of what Aquarius stands for. The sign of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, Aquarius time frames. And Aquarius is about embracing being different. So embracing differences. It's also, Aquarius is also about the future, forward thinking. Forward thinking. Aquarius is also about embracing your own group, or like a tribalism. So finding your own group and coming together with your own group. And things like that. So you want to find some key words to help you understand what each of these concepts mean. And then next, let's do first house. What is the first house? First house, some key words are your body, personality, your persona, like how you appear to people. First house is new initiatives, new life initiatives. So new initiatives. I can't type today. So it's new initiatives. So that's how you would do that. You have some keywords going, and we have a time span from December 2020 to May 2021. It's about 6 months. It's a 6-month time span. So what you would do here is you would think, what was going on during that time for me? And when you're thinking about what was going on during that time, you want to think in terms of the energy that we're looking at, Jupiterian energy. And Jupiterian themes are optimism, understanding the big picture of life, expansion, getting like an expertise at something, or having a big understanding of something that you probably didn't have before. So when you're looking for things that happen, think about what was happening that was related to that, to those types of things and more. You would have to read about Jupiter, learn about Jupiter in order to understand how Jupiter moves and how it acts and how it deals with certain situations. And then let's go next. Jupiter in Pisces. We want to do the same thing. So for me, Pisces is the second sign in my first house, and it's the first sign in my second house. So Pisces rules my second house. So we do the same thing. Pisces. What is Piscean things or Piscean themes? So Piscean themes is humanity. It's completions, like completion of a cycle, or it's seeing a big picture, knowing something is over, or it's totality of things. And Pisces is humanity, completions, spirituality, or big knowledge, spirituality, those types of things. And second house, what are some key words for the second house? An easy one is money, material possessions, Another second house, self-respect. Excuse me if I'm misspelling. So those are some key words for Jupiter in Pisces. And so you basically look at the date and think back. What was happening during this time span? This time span here is about June, July. It was about 2 months. So what was going on during this 2 months of Jupiter in Pisces in 2021? So that's what we would do with this chart. We would it would be like a diary and thinking back, what was going on during this time? And you would type in what was going on during those times based on the energy of Jupiter. And, basically, so you'd be looking for Jupiterian things. And, you don't want to, another reason why you want to make sure it's Jupiterian things is because you have other planets that have other meanings. Like, for example, Saturn. Saturn is pretty much the opposite of Jupiter. Saturn is about hard work, and it's about working for everything that you get. It makes life pretty hard, and it just teaches you the value of everything. You don't take anything for granted when a Saturn transit comes. So that's why you want to focus on like Jupiterian themes, not Saturnian themes or Plutonian themes. Jupiterian theme. So you want to think about it like that. So now I'm going to show you my own personal information, and it'll give you more insight into how this works, and it'll give you kind of a working knowledge of how to do it for yourself. And you'll also learn some things about myself. This is my chart, and I guess I'm dating myself showing you all of these pages. But these are different decades of pages. And here, let's start at 2020, and I'll talk about some of my life experiences and how they have happened in regarding these Jupiter transits. So 2020 through 2034. If you look down here, this is the future. It's the future, so they're not done yet, of course. And I documented all the way to the present of Jupiter transits. So let's start with 2020. What was going on in my life in 2020 that I can remember? So in December 2020, Jupiter was in Aquarius. Aquarius, I've talked about already, is my first house. It dominates my first house. And I don't remember what happened, so I didn't write anything. And Jupiter in Pisces, my second house, I don't remember also, so I didn't write anything. And that Jupiter in Pisces lasted all the way to July of 2021. And I do remember what happened after July going forward. Actually June. But when Jupiter was in Aquarius in my first house in July 29th, 2021, I began my second year contract at my job in South Korea. And so I work yearly contracts usually. So this is my second contract signing with them for a year. And remember, first house is new initiative. So Aquarius is my first house, so new initiative. So a new contract signing. So that was the beginning of that, which officially began in June. But June, July-ish, the energy's there, and the time frame is pretty close enough. And then next, Jupiter in Pisces, the second house, that's the money house. I don't remember what happened during that time frame of December 2021 to May, that 5 months, 2022. But what I do remember is May 11th until October 28th of 2022. I remember that pretty clearly. And at that point, Jupiter was in Aries. Aries is my third house. So if we use some key words like I talked about earlier, Aries is like, think military, or think someone that does things without thinking, or they're really aggressive and they take initiatives. They don't sit back and watch things. So that's the ruler of my third house. So I guess I'm aggressive with the third house stuff. And third house is learning a new skill. It's immediate information, consuming information, not for the big picture, but for like things that you really need in life every day, day to day. And it's also your siblings, your cousins. This seems to be like a lot of disparate things, but those are third house things. But during this time, it's also environment, moving through your environment, or kind of, it's on a travel axis. Third house is travel axis. Third and ninth house is just the travel axis. But during this time, starting around May, I decided to, time came up for me to re-sign for another contract, my third year contract for the job that I was working at. And during that time, the leadership fumbled something, and I ended up having to pay a significant amount of money because of a fumble that they made. It wasn't due to my own doing, but it was due to them forgetting something. And they didn't take responsibility for it or even own up to it. And at that time, it made me lose respect for the person that I was working for. I didn't want to come in and see them every day anymore. So I made the decision around that time, which was around July. And I decided to quit the job, but I didn't officially put in my notice until October. If you look here, it says October 28th. It was the end of this period. Then October 29th was the beginning of this period, which is the time when I officially put in my notice, my 2-month notice. I wanted to do it the beginning of October, but it ended up being more convenient to do it at the end of October. And if you look here, Jupiter in Pisces in my second house. So Pisces rules my second house, and second house is money. It's the money house. And I quit the job, and I guess it's related to money. So I guess, with that. And the end date of this period was December 2022. And what happened at December 21st was, this was when I left the country. I actually left the country. So Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter in Aries, back to my third house. And remember, third house is like moving around, transportation. It's on the travel axis, third house. And Aries is taking initiative, like the military, taking charge. So I left South Korea and I went to Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and I did a stint of self-employment. I was experimenting with some things during this time. And this third house period it ended around May 16th. And then we got to Jupiter in Taurus. And this is my fourth house. So Taurus is about being very comfortable and being stable, not taking any chances, and about accumulating things on a very practical level. And it's very money oriented and stability oriented energy. And it rules my fourth house. But when this time frame started, May 17, 2023, this started a chain reaction of a situation that got pretty ugly for me. And it ended up to where I had to leave my vacation and my ambitions at the time for what I was trying to do. And the situation, so Jupiter in Taurus is still going on. It ends on May 25th this year. So this has been a whole year of a Jupiter transit, Jupiter in Taurus. There hasn't been going back and forth into any other signs. It went straight through the Taurus sign. And so the fourth house is your home. It's your home, whether it be your physical home or your mental health, your body being your home. And Jupiter brought me to these types of themes. Like Taurus is just stability, staying in one place, and that type of thing. That's what this led to. And now I'm back in the United States, and which I've lived in Asia for the past 12 years. And I was very comfortable doing what I was doing. I was cool with that nomadic type of a lifestyle that I was having. And I was comfortable. I knew like what to expect and all these types of things. But now, being back in the United States, I'm more uncomfortable here than I was where I was. I was content where I was. But supposedly Jupiter is not the only influence that was happening during this time. This time was a pretty difficult time actually for me, like around the summer of last year. And I think it was quite difficult for the whole world or everyone. And the reason why I think so is because, I've said Jupiter is a very positive planet that gives you optimism and that type of thing. But it's not just Jupiter in play going on here. Also in the background, there's other powerful powers at play. For example, the North Node and the South Node, or the Moon nodes, and they changed around this time during the summer. And for me, they changed to my 2nd and 8th house axes, which is about money. Second house, North Node, second house, which made me focus on day-to-day earning money. And the 8th house, which is about 8th house, and the South Node is about you forgetting that part of your life or not depending on that part of your life, or getting rid of something that's you're over reliant on that part of your life. which is saved money, money that you don't directly work for every day. So that's what changed up then. And that's not what's bad about it, but what was difficult was because it was squaring the planet Pluto. And the planet Pluto is about power struggles. One of the big themes of Pluto is power struggles. And Pluto works on extremes. This could be power in the like deep dark power, or it could be bright positive power, someone persevering and doing well through their will, or it could be someone behind the scenes doing horrible things. So Plutonian energy works on a spectrum like that, and it was squaring the nodes. So if you pay attention to what was going on in the world, especially around the summer with the with the abroad, and then these heavy political situations, and this is a square for everyone. This is going on for everyone. The nodes were squaring Pluto for everyone, so everyone was going through something, but the nodes are in different houses of life for everyone, so it affects everyone differently, but it was still heavy energy for the whole world. So I think that thwarted a lot of the optimism and the positivity that Jupiter typically brings in when it makes its transits. And lastly, Jupiter makes its next transit on May 26th. Jupiter is going to go into Gemini. And for me, that's my fifth house. Fifth house is about children, which I don't expect to have any children. I don't have children. But it could be something that could bring me close to children. I have some big positive or big experience with children. It's about dating. I could maybe date. It's about romance, or there could be more romance. It's about feeling special, or like you doing something that you feel proud of, and everyone's watching you and everyone's proud of you, or all eyes on you type of a thing. And it's about hobbies. You doing things that make you feel proud. And yeah, so that's going to be a direct 1 year transit. It's going to go all the way to June 9th, 2025. And the previous square that I was telling you about the nodes and Pluto, that tension has kind of eased off. The planets are constantly moving, so that tension has subsided a lot. But in the summer, it was very heavy, and I really had to deal with it. It was heavy, me dealing with it. So my 2023 went from just super happy and content to having everything that I was hoping for. And then by the middle of the year, just some craziness was going on. And then at the end of the year, it was me kind of picking up the pieces and just trying to reestablish everything and make it into something meaningful, or something that's recognizable. But 2024, I expect some more big things to go on, and I expect them to be really positive, and we're going to see what happens with this. So that's Jupiter. Jupiter, we just overall positive, but there's some things in the background, some very powerful things in the background, or not as powerful, that can be going on also. But the Jupiterian things are typically very optimistic and enlightening, and makes you feel great about being here on this planet.